Pudgy Penguin Token Airdrop Aftermath, the next NFTs to pump into their token launches, and is the crypto bull run over? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Crypto Gorilla video. As usual, I'm not a financial advisor. There's a ton of opinions, speculation in this video that could be totally off. Do your own research. Links to everything to do that research in the description down below. While you're down there, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right into today's video. Starting off with Pudgy Penguin's token, the PENGU Token Airdrop claim, whatever you want to call it, is finally here, and it's for a ton more than just holding an NFT. In fact, 7 million wallets qualified for this token airdrop, and only 19 billion tokens have been claimed of the, I believe, like 60 billion tokens that are for the community. So I strongly suggest, after this video, you have 80 days to do it, no rush. I strongly suggest going to the Pudgy Penguins website and checking your ETH and SOL wallets to see if you have an allocation, because you could be sitting on thousands of dollars of PENGU tokens. Now, the airdrop itself was extremely successful. They airdropped millions of dollars to Web3. Now, obviously, the prices have gone down. We're going to take a look at the charts in just a second. Here it was when it was at 5 bill FDV, so roughly 2x from where it is right now. However, if you held a Pudgy Penguin, you would have gotten $93,500, meaning if you top blasted Pudgies up here at 36 ETH and you sold the literal bottom at 15 ETH, assuming you would have also sold your allocation, which at the time was worth something like 23 ETH, because the crypto markets have also crashed, you would still be in 5 figures of profits. So top blasting was actually a very good move in this case. But the real winner on all of this list, in my opinion, is going to be the soul-bound tokens, which were received when you bridged your little Pudgy into either ARB, BNB, or Polygon, or all three. You could have stacked these soul-bound tokens, and then you would have received $5,680 per soulbound token. That's like $17,000 for doing 3 transactions, which is absolutely crazy. We also have the elite role, which you just needed to fill a form in the abstract Discord. It was $900. But like I said, there's a ton more. ETH OG wallets, Sol OG wallets. So again, definitely head to the website, link in the description down below, and check if you have thousands of dollars in PENGU waiting in your wallet. Now, as for the price action, we knew the token was trading OTC before it went live for roughly 4 to 5 billion FDV. And once again, just like Magic Eden, it was spot on. It initially was trading around 5.5 billion FDV. And what's interesting with the OTC stuff is there was a play to be made there, because you have 24 hours, I believe, to fulfill your order. So when the airdrop happens, 24 hours. So you could have technically claimed your tokens, sold them into the open market if you think the price is going to go down, and then when it goes down, you buy back in and then just fulfill your order, and you get a 2x from there because that person paid at 5 billion FDV. Now, of course, there is a risk to this. I just find it's an interesting trade to make. But yes, the price has been trickling down, and a lot of people are comparing it both to the Magic Eden airdrop, which has been down only. Like, a lot of Solana OGs are upset with the allocation that they got, and they just cheated their allocation. But the other one that is super successful that people are comparing it to is the Hyper Liquid airdrop. This thing opened up at 3 bill FDV. It is currently sitting at 24.5 billion FDV. So if you just held the airdrop, you are way in profit. But I don't think it's fair to compare these two. First of all, while yes, you did have to trade on Hyperliquid and potentially took losses there, if you're just naturally trading, it's something you do, you would have received a massive airdrop for free. As opposed to Pudgy Penguins, you potentially bought in at 30 ETH. And with the sale pressure of the Pudgies, as well as the sell pressure of the PENGU token, you pretty much need to sell to not be underwater. As opposed to Hyperliquid, they airdrop these tokens at the price of like a fraction of a penny. So you are incentivized not to sell at least until next year in order to not incur a massive tax bill. Of course, here I'm completely ignoring that Hyperliquid is a legitimate chain that a lot of people love, and I believe it has a very strong future. But putting that aside, people are just making making these comparisons. The other comparison people are making is ApeCoin, because initially it did have a dump when it came out, but then a few days later, a couple weeks later, it went on to set a crazy all-time high of 25 billion FDV, or $25 per token. You can see right now it's only at $1, so 25x from here. However, ApeCoin also had huge catalysts. They came out with staking, where you needed to have a Bored Ape or a mutant as well as ApeCoin to stake them and receive rewards in exchange. So people were super hyped about that. But the biggest catalyst, the one that full sent it to $25, was the other side with the Other Deeds land sale, which was incredibly hyped. Yuga Labs raised like 200 million from this. They also made us waste 200 million in gas fees, but this is what sent ApeCoin soaring. So I'm really hoping that PENGU has this type of catalyst, and I think they potentially do, because they have the abstract mainnet dropping in January of next year. So anywhere within the next 2 to 6 weeks. So for me personally, I have been buying under this 3 billion FDV level, as I expect it to go higher within the next few weeks, especially leading up into abstract, if they give us some incentives for holding PENGU. And I really hope the prophecy that Luca has been posting about comes true. Here I assume he's talking about these tweets from GCR from last cycle, 2021, predicting the launch of a PENGU token by Pudgy Penguins, saying that it's going to bring in a ton of liquidity, because NFTs don't necessarily do that, especially as the prices get higher. But with a token trading on these popular centralized exchanges, which Pudgy's got Binance, they got OKX, which you can argue that they kind of blew that card on day one. So now they need more catalysts. But this is going to allow a ton of retail to come into this token. And as you can see here, he calls it like the Doge of the decade. So hopefully this plays out. Personally, I bought in. Like I said, I do think this token is going to go up, especially as the sale pressure is starting to go down. It's just unfortunate that the entire crypto market is crashing like 2 days after the PENGU token launch. Now, whether you were airdropped PENGU or not, if you want NFTs to come back, you should be rooting and supporting Pudgy Penguins. And I'm not telling you to go buy a Pudgy or to go buy PENGU, but I do believe in the current state of the NFT market, the success of NFTs is somewhat dependent on the success of the PENGU token. Because outside of Gary Vee buying Cool Cats and pumping the chart, the main NFTs that people have been buying are the ones that have a token launch catalyst attached to it. This applies to Azuki with their anime token launch, which I believe is going to launch as early as January. And while there is a point system for the gachas, you can see here there's bonuses based on the assets you own. I do hope that they reward simply holding an NFT and not having staked it or whatever you want to call it and earned these gachas or points, because not everybody can afford an Azuki, and the base minimum you seem to need is an Azuki. So ideally they reward the entire ecosystem. Here your options are Azukis, Elementals, and Beans. And if it plays out exactly like Pudgy's, which I'm not at all saying it will, but Pudgy's went all the way to 36. So for Azukis, that would be over a 3x from here. Low Pudgy's went above 4. I think they hit 4.5. So same thing, a 3x for Elementals. And then the rods were probably the best trade. They ran to like 2.7 ETH, which for the Beans would be a 5x. So I have no idea when the anime token is launching, but the Azuki anniversary is in January. So this would be their 3rd year. Perfect time to launch their token. Now, another collection that went on an absolute moon mission today is Doodles, and that's because Burnt Toast, one of the founders of Doodles, tweeted this out. However, if you take the first letter of every single word, it does spell out token is coming. So they've pretty much confirmed that a token is going to be launching for Doodles. This is something that I've been talking about for months. However, I've really been pushing it over the last 2 weeks. And you could see the main Doodles collection ran all the way to roughly 8.3 ETH. I did have one of my Doodles listed, so I made a really nice flip here, making $15,000 in as little as 8 days. And I do still have my second one. It was listed, but I delisted it because I think Doodles can go way higher than 10 ETH, especially that they have a really great production team. They just have the partnership with McDonald's. They have like Lil Wayne and Pharrell, and I'm sure other artists on board. So I think they can really push this collection, but I understand Doodles are very expensive. And they also have the space Doodles, but this is the same collection. You could just like change the art. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know it is the same collection, just different art. Now, another collection that I'm looking to pick up from Doodles is going to be the duplicators. I'm waiting them for have a little dip here because on day one, they always go nuts and then they just end up nuking back down to where they were, which looking at this now, this would have been a great entry point. I'm assuming this person just nuked into bids. Yeah, I should have had some bids in, but I do think duplicators are a good play. I'm not sure if they're going to get any token allocation, but if you compare it to Pudgy Penguins, like the second collection, Little Pudgies, ran all the way to 4 ETH. So, you know, if these can 3x from there, 2x, it's still a great trade. But the one I'm looking at even more, even though I believe it has less utility than the duplicators, is going to be these Genesis boxes, which, yes, they do have a very large supply. And I am wondering, like, what is this wallet that has 8,500 and this one that has 2,200? I know Pranksy has 1,200, so there's that. But the Genesis boxes are the cheapest entry into the ecosystem if people are going to speculate about a token. And if we look at Pudgy Penguins, we had the fishing rods and those ran all the way to like 2.6 ETH. I don't expect these to go to 2.6 ETH, but again, if I can get like a 5x out of this, that's a really good trade. Now, there's a ton more collections that are expecting tokens, and I think all of these can do really well. I've been talking now for a couple weeks about Jirasan since 0.26, and they are up 2x. But again, I see these going above 1 ETH, especially that they have redacted, they have iAgent that are going to be airdropped to the NFT holders, and I think that's happening in January. So I'm still holding the 10 that I have of these. Another one that has already pumped is Goblintown, and man, I was looking at them here today. I should have bought. They are currently at 0.6 off of rumors of a token. They posted a trailer showing some gameplay, so maybe they're going to have a token that integrates with their game. And they were featured in that up only or only up game. I forget the title of it, where people were freaking out because they found out, oh my god, there's NFTs in this game. But they were featured in that game, so they do have connections to a gaming studio, so it would make sense. Another one is Creepz. I don't know too much about this ecosystem. However, I have heard they are supposed to get like 5 tokens, one of them being Play Somo, which I don't know what's happening with that project. People invested a long time ago and are just waiting for it to launch, I guess, when, you know, gaming projects start doing good again. But we do have one of the founders here posting, if you take the first letter, it spells out same, which is a reply to Doodles say token coming soon. So they're saying us too, we also have a token coming soon. However, this collection did not move at all with him posting that. I guess it had already pumped, but it didn't get any action of him posting this tweet. But even Moonbirds, dude, Moonbirds recently pumped, and like, who wants to buy a Moonbird? But they ran all the way to 1.2, currently sitting at 0.85 off of speculation of a token. So it really is the meta right now. Even in gaming, a lot of these gaming NFTs have tokens coming up. We just saw Infinigods, the Infinipasses run all the way to 0.4. The vaults, which are back down now close to their mint price, these things ran all the way up to 0.2 after that announcement of like a listing on Hyperliquid, which I don't fully understand why that's so bullish or how it happened exactly. But I really hope people will start to realize like, hey, these gaming projects all have tokens coming up and the NFTs get an allocation. So it's really great to see some action come back to NFTs. Like I said in my last video, I've been having a blast trading NFTs, but I understand a lot of this is predicated off of a token. So if PENGU does pump, if PENGU goes to like 6 bill, 8 bill, even 10 bill, if we're lucky, I think people are going to be FOMOing hard into these NFTs because all of these NFTs have a token that is coming up. And the same applies to future NFTs. I just made on Wednesday, you should go watch it after this video, an upcoming whitelist video for abstract NFTs. But if PENGU isn't doing well, people aren't going to be as hyped for abstract. Now, if PENGU is going nuts, people are going to be super hyped about abstract. And I really don't want another situation like Blast, where Blast was super hyped, maybe 1 or 2 NFTs did well, and then everything pretty much died. Like nobody cared about the meme coins. Nobody wanted NFTs on there. I do think Blur is partially responsible for that, for not listing Blur NFTs on day one. But it would really suck with all this hype and, you know, all our expectations for NFTs if abstract didn't do well. So I'm rooting for PENGU. I'm rooting for abstract. I'm rooting for all these NFTs. Obviously, selfish reasons. I enjoy trading them and I want my bags to go up, but I'm going to continue supporting them. Now, it is not all on the back of pudgy penguins. I think an Opensea airdrop would send NFTs because people are going to be trading stuff. They're going to be incentivized to trade, similar to the early Blur days. And what I would love to see from Opensea, if there's an airdrop, it's not confirmed that there's going to be one. I would love when they finally open up Opensea 2 or Opensea, I don't know what they're calling it. Let's call it Opensea 2. When they finally open it up, I would love for them to do an airdrop for all of the legacy holders, give us an incentive to stake it for points for season 1, and then start your season 1 and have us, I don't know, farm or put bids or whatever they want to do. But I think that would make NFTs fun again, despite some people's criticism on how Blur killed NFTs, which I think just the bear market killed NFTs, not necessarily Blur. Now, if you do want to check your allocation, there's this website called Pluid where you are able to put in a wallet and then check like how much volume you have, what your biggest trades are. And they do, as you can see up here, give you an estimate on what your potential airdrop is going to be based on FDV. So here he has it at 10 bill. That is very high. And here he's saying 15% of the token is airdropped. So I'll link that down below. Again, I don't think these numbers are accurate, both in terms of an airdrop, because again, there is no confirmed airdrop. It's all just speculation. But two, when I tried it, I had to try a few times. Like some of my wallets seem to be missing certain of my trades or some of the volume. So take this with a grain of salt, but it is fun to just look at this stuff and, dream of getting 100K airdrop for trading NFTs. Now let's finish this video off with some general market news, because we did have an FOMC meeting on Wednesday where, yes, we did get a rate cut, which was expected. However, there was some hawkish news. One, there's no change in their position with the balance sheet, so they aren't going to be adding assets to it yet. But the worst one was the reduction in estimates in rate cuts. We were all expecting, I believe it was 4 rate cuts next year, and now there might only be 2. So with that, the crypto markets dumped. As you can see here, everything is pretty much red across the week except for like Fartcoin. But it's not just us. The stock market also had a very bad week and had a little crash on the chart. Now, I'll say I do agree with what Virtual Bacon has to say here. Short term, it is going to be painful, but long term, it's actually bullish, because too many rate cuts too quick is actually bad for the market. If we take a look at this chart showing the rate cut history of the Fed, when they cut rates too quickly, all these gray lines here mark a recession. So we have the 2021, we have the 2008 recession, we have the dot-com bubble. And while I do believe a lot of people cherry pick this chart, it's not like a one-to-one rate cuts equals a crash. They don't consider things like global liquidity. They're not looking into the unemployment rate. They're just cherry picking these lines on a chart. But you can't ignore the data, and there definitely is some correlation when there are quick rate cuts with a recession. Now, I do believe a recession is coming within the next 2 to 3 years, but like Virtual Bacon says here, it is potentially delaying any recession that is coming in the future, and that inflation is still going to be high, which is good for risk on assets. So my position has not changed here. I'm still bullish on this market. I believe we are going to be higher next year than where we are today for Bitcoin, for altcoins. I know it is painful to see a lot of your altcoins down 25, 30, 40% when we just had such gains and everything was super euphoric. We were above 100K Bitcoin, especially if you have meme coins. Like meme coins have taken an absolute beating, but that's the price you're going to pay if you want these insane gains. And if we look to January, what's going to happen? We have President Trump coming into power on January 20th, where hopefully he does set up the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, ideally on day 1, but a good time period would be within the first 90 days. And that's going to cause a cascade with a ton of countries around the world. We have here Germany already regretting selling their Bitcoin for like half off where prices are today, fading billions of dollars. We have the EU discussing opening their own Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. So my position has not changed here. Yes, I have been taking profits. Whenever we hit these highs, I am taking profits pretty aggressively. However, a majority of my bag is still in the market because I do believe next year we are going to be higher. So I believe in the future of this. I believe crypto, especially Bitcoin, is the future. Okay. A lot of these tokens are going to die. Most of these NFTs and meme coins are going to die, but I believe Bitcoin is the future. So this short-term price action, while it is painful to look at, it's irrelevant. So that ends today's video. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification. Thank you for watching another Crypto Gorilla video. Peace.